Key point 1, you don't find your soulmate, you align with them. Most people think finding a soulmate is like searching for buried treasure. You go out into the world, explore, and eventually stumble upon the person you're meant to be with. But that's a flawed way of thinking. Love isn't something you find, it's something you attract when you are in alignment with your highest self. You don't need to run around looking for the one, because the right person will naturally be drawn to you when you become the best version of yourself. This isn't just about romance, it's about energy, purpose, and divine timing. Alignment means being in tune with who you really are, understanding your worth, and stepping into your purpose. If you're still carrying emotional baggage, unresolved pain, or insecurities, you're going to attract relationships that reflect those struggles. Think about it. If you're operating from a place of fear, self-doubt, or desperation, you're more likely to settle for someone who meets you at that low frequency rather than someone who elevates you. But when you grow, heal, and operate from confidence, you align yourself with someone who is also whole, secure, and on the same journey of purpose. Many people ask, why haven't I met my soulmate yet? But the better question is, am I ready for them? God isn't going to introduce you to the right person if you're still entertaining the wrong people, stuck in old patterns, or refusing to grow. If you're constantly compromising your values, ignoring red flags, or seeking validation from unhealthy relationships, how can you expect to recognize real love when it arrives? Alignment is about preparation. The person God has for you isn't just anyone. They're a reflection of your growth, your strength, and your purpose. A powerful relationship isn't built on chasing, forcing, or controlling. It's built on two people meeting at the right time, both already whole, already secure, and already walking in their purpose. Have you ever noticed that when you're thriving, when you're fully focused on your goals, passions, and personal growth, that's when the best opportunities, connections, and people enter your life? That's not a coincidence. That's alignment. The same is true for love. When you stop searching and start becoming, that's when the right person appears. Alignment also requires authenticity. Too many people try to mold themselves into what they think their soulmate will want. They suppress their true personality, change their values, or act in ways that aren't natural just to attract someone. But here's the truth. Your soulmate isn't looking for a version of you that isn't real. They're looking for the real you, the one who embraces their strengths and flaws, the one who stands confidently in who they are. If you have to pretend to be someone else to attract a partner, they aren't your soulmate, they're just a temporary distraction from your true path. One of the biggest roadblocks to alignment is fear. The fear of being alone, the fear of waiting too long, the fear of missing out. But fear leads to settling. When you operate from fear, you lower your standards, compromise your boundaries, and allow people into your life who don't deserve a seat at your table. But when you're aligned, you operate from faith. You trust that the right person will come at the right time, and you refuse to accept anything less than a love that truly matches your energy, purpose, and future. The process of alignment isn't easy. It requires you to let go of relationships that no longer serve you. It demands deep self-reflection, healing, and an unwavering commitment to your personal growth. But when you do the work, when you rise above your past, step into your purpose, and refuse to settle for anything less than you deserve, you don't just attract love, you attract the right love. The kind of love that elevates you, challenges you, and supports you in becoming the person you were meant to be. So instead of searching endlessly for your soulmate, shift your focus inward. Work on becoming the best version of yourself, heal, grow, and align with your purpose. Because when you do that, love won't be something you have to chase, it will be something that naturally finds you. God prepares you first before introducing your soulmate. Most people want to meet their soulmate immediately, believing that finding love will solve their problems, fill their emptiness, or bring them happiness, but God doesn't work like that. Before He introduces you to your soulmate, He prepares you, He shapes you, refines you, and removes the things that are blocking you from experiencing real love. If you rush into a relationship before you're ready, you risk missing out on the depth, purpose, and strength that true love is meant to have. God's timing isn't about delay, it's about development. Preparation often starts with breaking old patterns. Maybe you've been in toxic relationships where you settled for less than you deserved. Maybe you've accepted love that was conditional, unhealthy, or rooted in insecurity. If that's the case, God won't bring you your soulmate while you're still holding on to those old mindsets. Why? Because you might project past wounds onto the right person. You might sabotage something beautiful because you haven't healed from what broke you. Before God gives you what you prayed for, He makes sure you're ready to handle it. One of the ways God prepares you is through isolation. This can be one of the hardest phases because it feels like nothing is happening, like everyone around you is finding love while you're stuck waiting. But don't mistake this season for punishment. God is setting you apart, not leaving you behind. He's giving you time to heal, to grow, to deepen your relationship with Him, because if you can't be at peace alone, you'll never be at peace in a relationship. A soulmate doesn't complete you, they complement you. And you can't complement someone else if you don't even know who you are. Healing is another crucial part of God's preparation. Many people want a perfect love, but haven't dealt with their brokenness. Unhealed wounds don't disappear just because you meet someone new. They show up in the way you communicate, the way you trust, the way you handle conflict. God won't send you a soulmate to heal you. He'll heal you so you can love your soulmate in a healthy way. If you skip this step, you risk turning a blessing into a burden by expecting someone else to fix what only God can restore. God also prepares you by stripping away what isn't meant for you. Sometimes that means losing people you thought would always be in your life. It means walking away from relationships that feel comfortable but aren't truly meant for you. It means letting go of friendships, habits, and environments that keep you stuck in cycles of insecurity and self-doubt. This process is painful because it feels like you're losing everything, but what if God is making space? What if what feels like loss is actually preparation for something greater? Another way God prepares you is by building your patience. We live in a world of instant gratification where people want love to happen overnight, but real love isn't rushed. It's cultivated, nurtured, and developed over time. If you're in a hurry, you might settle for something shallow instead of waiting for something meaningful. God's delays are not denials, they are divine protection. What you want right now may not be what's best for you. Trust that the wait isn't wasted, it's working in your favor. God will also test your faith in the waiting season. Do you really trust Him to bring the right person at the right time? Or do you let fear and impatience push you into relationships that aren't meant for you? Faith means surrendering control, believing that God knows what's best, even when you don't understand the timing. Sometimes God is watching to see if you trust Him enough to wait for what He has prepared for you, rather than chasing after what looks good in the moment. Self-discovery is another key part of preparation. Before God introduces you to your soulmate, He wants you to know yourself, your purpose, your values, your strengths, and your weaknesses, because the stronger your sense of identity, the stronger your relationship will be. Love isn't just about attraction, it's about alignment. If you don't know where you're going in life, how will you recognize the person who's meant to walk with you? Your soulmate isn't just any person, they are a divine connection meant to help fulfill your purpose. That means God isn't just preparing you, He's preparing them too. Just like you are growing, healing, and evolving, so is the person you're meant to be with. When you finally meet, it won't be a coincidence. It will be a divine intersection of two people who have been prepared for each other. So if it feels like nothing is happening, if you feel stuck in a waiting season, know this: God isn't making you wait to frustrate you. He's making you wait so that you don't settle. He is shaping you into the person who can love deeply, build a strong partnership, and create a relationship that honors Him. Your soulmate is coming, but first, God is making sure you're ready. Key point 3, struggles and heartbreaks refine you for the right person. Pain has a purpose. It may not feel that way when you're going through heartbreak, disappointment, or betrayal, but every struggle you face is shaping you for something greater. When it comes to love, many people think heartbreak is just a sign that they made a mistake or that love isn't for them. But in reality, every heartbreak, every rejection, and every failed relationship is a lesson designed to refine you for the love God has planned for you. You don't grow through comfort, you grow through challenges. And sometimes the relationships that break you are the ones that prepare you for the person who will love you the right way. Think about the people who have hurt you in the past. Maybe they made you feel unworthy, unseen, or not enough. Maybe they left you with scars that made you question your value. But what if those experiences weren't meant to destroy you? What if they were meant to teach you what love is not, so you can recognize what love truly is? Sometimes God allows us to experience the wrong kind of love so that when the right one comes, we don't take it for granted. Heartbreak is often the beginning of transformation. When you go through pain, you have two choices. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. The pain of losing someone forces you to look inward, to reflect on what you truly need, and to grow in ways you never would have if everything had been easy. Many times, the person you become after heartbreak is exactly the person you need to be to attract the right love. The struggle is not a punishment, it's preparation. One of the hardest lessons to learn is that some relationships are only meant to be temporary. You might have thought they were the one, but they were only there to teach you, to stretch you, or to push you closer to the person you're meant to be with. When people walk away, it hurts, but it also clears space. God removes what isn't right for you so that when the right person comes, there's room for them to stay. You can't hold on to something that was never meant to be and expect to receive what was divinely designed for you. The pain of heartbreak also forces you to heal in ways you never would have if you had stayed in comfort. If you never faced rejection, you wouldn't learn to validate yourself. If you never experienced being treated poorly, you wouldn't know how to set boundaries. If you never had your heart broken, you wouldn't understand the depth of real love when it finally finds you. Your struggles are shaping you into someone who will not only attract love, but will also know how to nurture and protect it. Struggles in love also teach you patience. When you've been hurt before, it's tempting to rush into the next relationship just to fill the emptiness. But healing takes time, and if you don't allow yourself to fully recover, you'll end up repeating the same cycles with different people. God uses heartbreak to slow you down, to make you reflect, and to ensure that when love enters your life again, you are ready to receive it fully. Every delay, every closed door, and every painful goodbye is actually leading you closer to the right person. Another thing heartbreak does is refine your standards. Before the pain, you might have accepted things you shouldn't have. You might have settled for love that was inconsistent, toxic, or rooted in insecurity. But when you've been through enough, you start to see clearly. You stop settling for people who drain you, and you start making space for those who uplift you. Pain forces you to redefine what love means to you, and that clarity helps you recognize your soulmate when they appear. God also uses struggles to teach you how to love properly. If you've been through heartbreak, you know what it feels like to be abandoned, misunderstood, or taken for granted. And because of that, when the right person enters your life, you love them differently. You value them, you appreciate them, you don't take them for granted. Your struggles don't just shape you, they prepare you to love in a way that is deep, intentional, and life-changing. Many people wish they could skip the pain and just meet their soulmate without all the struggle. But if that happened, you wouldn't be ready for them. The best love stories are written through growth, healing, and resilience. Your struggles are creating the version of you that is capable of building a love that lasts. Every heartbreak has a purpose, and when you finally meet the right person, you'll look back and realize that every painful experience was shaping you for that moment. So instead of seeing struggles and heartbreaks as obstacles, start viewing them as preparation. They're shaping your mindset, refining your heart, and aligning you with the person who will love you the way God intended. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Key point 4, God removes distractions before he brings the right person. Before God introduces you to your soulmate, he removes the distractions that could keep you from recognizing them. Distractions don't always come in the form of bad people or toxic relationships. Sometimes they come in the form of comfortable situations, temporary attachments, or even your own mindset. God knows that if you're too preoccupied with the wrong things, you won't be able to receive the right person when they arrive. So he clears the path, even if it means taking people, habits, or opportunities out of your life that you weren't ready to let go of. One of the biggest distractions that God removes is relationships that are not meant for you. You may feel attached to someone who isn't right for you, whether due to comfort, history, or fear of being alone. But just because a relationship feels familiar doesn't mean it's meant to last. Sometimes God has to remove someone you thought you loved because they were blocking you from the person who will truly love you. And if you don't willingly walk away, he will create situations that force you to. Another distraction is emotional baggage. If you're still holding on to pain from past relationships, resentment from betrayals, or insecurities that make you doubt your worth, those things will cloud your vision. God won't bring your soulmate into your life while you're still carrying emotional weight from the past. It will lead you through healing first, helping you release what no longer serves you so that when the right person comes, you can embrace them fully without fear, comparison, or doubt. God also removes people who drain your energy and lower your standards. Not everyone in your life is meant to stay. Some people distract you from your purpose, keep you in unhealthy cycles, or influence you in ways that pull you further from God's plan. Before He blesses you with a soulmate, He will distance you from the friendships, social circles, and influences that keep you stuck in old patterns. This can feel lonely at first, but it's a necessary part of preparation. Sometimes the biggest distraction isn't another person. It's your own impatience. Many people get tired of waiting and try to force relationships that aren't meant for them. They rush into commitments out of fear rather than faith. But when you try to take control instead of trusting God's timing, you only delay what He has for you. This is why He sometimes allows disappointment and closed doors to remind you that what's meant for you won't require you to force it. God also removes distractions by shifting your focus back to yourself and your purpose. If you've spent too much time chasing love, seeking validation, or obsessing over relationships, He may place you in a season where love is the last thing on your mind. Not because He wants to deprive you of it, but because He wants to show you that your identity isn't found in another person, it's found in Him. When you finally embrace that truth, you'll be ready for the kind of love that aligns with your destiny. Another distraction that God clears is the illusion of perfect timing. Many people believe they have to achieve a certain status, look a certain way, or reach a particular level of success before they can meet their soulmate. But that mindset itself can become a distraction. God's timing doesn't follow human logic. The right person won't come when you think you're ready by worldly standards. They'll come when you're aligned with God's plan, even if it doesn't make sense at the time. God also removes distractions by breaking unhealthy attachments. If you've ever felt drawn to someone who wasn't good for you despite knowing they weren't right, that's an unhealthy attachment. These bonds can be hard to break because they create emotional, mental, and sometimes even spiritual ties that keep you stuck. God will intervene, whether by revealing their true character, creating distance, or shifting your heart so that you can finally let go and make space for the right relationship. One of the most overlooked distractions is the fear of being alone. Many people settle for less than they deserve because they'd rather be with someone, anyone, than face loneliness. But God wants you to be at peace with yourself before He brings you someone else. If you're constantly looking for love to fill an internal void, you'll enter relationships from a place of need rather than wholeness. God removes this distraction by teaching you how to be complete on your own so that when the right person comes, you won't need them. You'll choose them from a place of strength. When God removes distractions, it can feel like loss, rejection, or isolation, but in reality, it's divine protection. He is making sure that when your soulmate enters your life, there will be nothing standing in the way of you recognizing them, choosing them, and building something extraordinary together. If God is clearing your path, trust that it's not to take something from you, it's to make room for something far greater than you could ever imagine.